It's 11:34. You're on CapeTalk and 702, and you're with me, Rebecca Davis, standing in for Redi Tlhabi this morning. What's in a name? For most of us who are gifted with unexceptional surnames like Davis or Dlamini, not a lot. We can move through the world completely untroubled by our last names, but not all of us are so lucky. So there's a question which has been on my mind a lot over the past weeks, really, and that is, what must it be like at the moment to be a perfectly ordinary South African with the surname Gupta? What is your life like now, especially as the notoriety of the famous Gupta family has grown? Do people do a double take every time you introduce yourself as a Gupta? Do you feel resentment at your namesakes occupying unfavorable newspaper headlines practically every day? I was desperate to find out the answer to these questions. So yesterday, my dashing producer Stefan and I hit the phones. We went straight to the white pages online and we phoned every single person we could find in South Africa who had the surname Gupta, other than ones who lived in Saxonwold and Morningside. We thought Morningside was also suspiciously posh. And in the end, we found one brave Gupta who was willing to talk to us, and she's on the phone now, I hope. Bhavna, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, Bhavna. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
I'm good. Bhavna, you are Bhavna Gupta, is that right?
Yes.
What is that like in the current political climate, Bhavna?
It's been challenging every time you have to introduce yourself and tell people what's your last name. But it's been okay.
Do you find that people's reactions have changed to you in the last few weeks, given the recent news about the other Guptas?
No, not really. Whenever someone asks me, are you related to the Guptas, I'm like, no, I'm not. And I humble myself down and I'm like, no, I'm just an ordinary guy. Just kind of be normal.
Do you find that people ask you for money?
No. As soon as I say I'm not related to them, they're like, no, I'm just an ordinary one. So
do you think that if
I live my life that way.
If you were related to them, do you think they'd be asking you for loans?
I don't think so. The people I'm with don't really ask me for money, given the fact that I'm really young.
You are really young. So in general, you'd say that having the surname Gupta is perhaps not ideal at the moment, but it's not making your life hell.
No, it's not making my life hell. I would say it's something I was given. I didn't have a choice in the matter, but I'm lucky I do. It does give me a bit of attention, but it's fine. I can deal with that attention.
Thank you so much, Bhavna, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Listeners of South Africa, if you encounter somebody with the surname Gupta who is not a member of the Zuma Guptas, be nice. Don't make that obvious joke, because clearly they are getting it in the neck. Imagine if you had a surname which was not just synonymous with corruption or cronyism in a South African context, but actually just associated with pure evil internationally. And this is the situation for a woman we have on the phone right now. Fiona Hittlers, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, yes.
Fiona,
yes.
That is one crazy surname you have.
It is. People do take a double take when they hear it, yeah.
Tell us a bit about what life has been like as a Hitler.
I got married in the 80s, and then we used to get calls at about 3 o'clock in the morning looking for Churchill or looking for Adolf and that. But as the years have gone on, it sort of got diluted. So it hasn't been that bad. People, it's when you go to the tills or you have to fill out a form, they look at you and say, oh, are you related to Adolf? And you go, no, we have 2 T's in our surname and that type of thing, My daughter has had on Facebook, she got a message from some random who said, I don't like your surname, change it. And she was quite indignant. That's my surname, I'm proud of it.
I mean, I think that is the question that'll be on a lot of our listeners' minds, Fiona. Why not change your surname?
Because that's our surname. It's spelled with 2 T's. We've got no relation to Hitler, who did all the atrocities. So there's no need to change it. It doesn't bother us.
Has anyone in your family changed their name?
Yeah, my stepson, he changed his name. But he was going through a bad time, and it was difficult for him. So he's changed his name. And so their family have another family name.
And Fiona, I think I'm right in saying that you married into the Hittlers.
I married into the Hitler, yeah. And, my father-in-law was a minister for 60 years. My sister-in-law was a teacher. My husband's in a corporate environment. And it's never been a problem. We're all out there. So a lot of people know the surname.
When you met your husband-to-be and he told you he was a Hitler, did you have a moment where you're like, I just don't know if I can do this? Or was love all conquering?
No, I never thought of that. I just thought, okay, interesting surname, but that's fine. I think my parents took more of a, like, what?
And in your personal career, have you ever had any problems professionally with the surname?
No, I haven't. It's just been what it is. But I did work in the hospital in a maternity section. And sometimes we had very, very Orthodox Jewish people coming in. And then just out of respect, I would take my name badge off if I was dealing with them. But it wasn't because I was embarrassed about it. With a new baby, you've got so many emotions. There's so much going through your head. They just didn't need to deal with the surname.
With having their baby delivered by Hitler. I can imagine that would be a talking point at Shabbos dinner, perhaps. Fiona, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. We've got Ideen in Irene, or the other way around. Hi.
Hi, it's Ideen from Irene, and my surname is Hoare. H-O-A-R-E.
Hoare.
Yes.
Please, nobody phone into the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. I'm just repeating what she said. Your surname is Hoare.
H-O-A-R-E. And because my uncle was a famous mercenary, I was able to bridge that surname when people said, so are you? And I said, no, but I am the niece of the famous Mad Mike Hoare, who fought in the Congo in the 60s. So
was that enough to put them off at the time?
No, it was just a sort of mockery and a way of opening, so are you a whore would be their first way of introducing themselves. And yes, so I changed my surname to Omara.
Oh, so you legally changed it, not because you married or anything. You got rid of that surname.
No, I changed it. Yes.
So were you genuinely experiencing it as a life impediment?
Genuinely, as a young girl, I didn't like it at all.
Thank you so much for that story. We have one more from Hilton in Johannesburg.
Hi, I had a print shop about 30 years ago, and we had an incident where we had to do business cards for a couple, and the surname was Doctor. And they were both doctors. So if you had to phone and the one answered, you'd have to say, hello, doctor, I've got the business cards ready,
We've got a few SMSs here. Hi, Rebecca. A long time ago, I worked for an Austrian woman hairdresser, and her surname was Beach. Just before I started working in that salon, I was told she had to be in court, and the officials had to say, Miss Bitch said this. And so on. I was told it was very funny in the court. I believe you, Gary, from Orange Grove. That does sound pretty amazing. A few tweets coming in. Funniest surname I've ever heard is Cobbledick. Another tweet, I had a teacher whose surname was Darby Lewis. She was off sick for a bit when all that came out, and the school read a statement. That's also not a great one to have. And from Penny Hoare, I'm a whore, H-A-W, always have been, but had more hassle about being a penny after Penny Sparrow. Wow, how's that? It's worse to be a penny than it is to be a whore. You heard it here first. Sally in Woodstock.
I know of a doctor, two doctors in Durban many years ago when I was growing up. There was a general surgeon who went by the surname of Mr. Butcher, and then there was an obstetrician whose name was Mr. Bachelor. And they were quite well known for that. But then I also have a friend whose surname is Untied.
Untied?
Untied, and when his mom and dad divorced and his mom remarried, she became a Mrs. Knott.
Oh, that is fantastic. Sean from Midrand.
I wanted to share my comment with the lady with the surname Hall. There's a New Zealand rugby player who played a few years ago. His name was Andrew Hall. And guess what position he played?
You tell me, Andrew. Okay, John. Okay, wow. That is fantastic. A whore who played as a hooker. Call from Harold in Meyersdal. Hi, Harold.
We actually did work for a lady in Meyersdal. Her surname was Kiss Me Green.
Excuse me? Could you repeat that?
Exactly. I said the same thing.
What was it?
Kiss Me Green was her surname.
Kiss Me Green.
Exactly.
Good Lord, that must have been difficult. I think life must have been difficult.
And I promise you, after the work was done, I had such a laugh when I drove away.
I'm sure you did.
With
Poor
a
old
surname
Miss.
like that is our deepest sympathy.
Canelo in Cosmo City. Hi.
Hey, hi, speaking to Canelo in Cosmo City. Look, I worked in Devon. It was back in 2009.
Yeah.
It was an upset trust. Now, we dealt with deceased estates. Now, one of the deceased surnames, sorry if they're listening, but one of the deceased surname was E.S. Busted. His initials were E.S., and then the surname was Busted.
E.S. Busted?
Now, yeah, E.S. Busted.
Mm.
Now, the funny thing, every time I call the beneficiaries, the clients, they say, no, it's not Busted. It's Bastard. They're trying to make it sound nicer, but actually E.S. Busted.
I would actually rather go by Busted than Bastard. That is one way of dealing with unfortunate surnames, I suppose, if you just pretend it's pronounced completely different. If you just say, no, it's not Hitler, it's Hitler, or something like that. Majabula in Midrand, good morning.
I used to work with these people. They are Xhosa, and obviously for a white person in South Africa, when they say the surname, they don't think of anything bad or sinister.
Yeah.
But when we hear it, we always obviously, say it like a whisper or never say it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is Kengimpene.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Which means by a monkey. And then the next one is Sende.
Oh, Africa in studio is making some horrific gestures to me there. What does that mean?
So Sende means like it's a long way, but there's also another Zulu word which means obviously private parts with that surname.
John in Lakeside, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I've got some very interesting names. When I started working in 1972 in the UK, I worked on a shift with a guy called Matthew Christmas. The next day I met his sister, Mary.
No,
yeah,
what were they thinking?
Believe I couldn't stop laughing. I really embarrassed myself. But the best one was my manager in 1985, Terry Cotton. He had two daughters, Polly and Esther.